To power on your 36 with the feed Foreman, press the yellow button until the red light comes on. We are using two remote displays. You can use them together or separately depending on what meets the needs of your operations. The RD40RF display is traditionally used in the front end loader, and the XLR12 display is traditionally used on the side of your mixer. And you have the option with the XLR12 to use an XLR junction box and actually have remote displays on both sides of your mixer if you happen to load from both sides. To upload information to the scale indicator from Foreman PC, simply put in the USB stick. You will hear a beep and the program automatically identifies the information to download. Once you see the green check mark, you can remove the USB stick. All transaction data that I have completed have also been downloaded to the USB stick and ready for you to upload into Foreman PC. From the start menu, press on the Ration management icon. Enter the login code. You are now in the Foreman home screen. From the home screen, you have three menu options. Mix menu, adjustments menu, and scale mode only. In this case, return to scale mode, you do need to log off. This can give you an opportunity from the scale mode to do a quick zero of your indicator. To return back to the mix menu, press menu on the scale mode, then press the Ration management icon and enter in your password again. To begin making a ration, select the mix menu. Within the mix menu, you have four batching options. Batch premix load, batch by pin list, batch load by recipe, and batch by auto size ingredient. We will review the batch by premix, batch by ration, and batch by pin modes because these are the three most common modes used by dairies and beef feedlots. To make premix, select the batch by premix mode. The default load size will automatically be the max capacity it's set for your mixer in Foreman PC. Select change load size, enter into new premix batch target. In this case, I'm entering 8,500 pounds. Press the start this load icon to begin batching. And if anytime you mistakenly start in the wrong batch mode or in the wrong batch size, you can simply press the F3 button. You then will be asked if you want to abort this current load. If you wish to do so, press the yes button. Your first ingredient appears in the top right corner of your touchscreen and also appears on the RD40RF remote and on your XLR remote, in addition to the target amount. In the bottom left corner, you will find the pause button. Always be sure to select the pause button if you're moving the mixer any great distances in between loading ingredients or in between unloading the ration. This will help maintain the most accuracy and consistency in your weighing by avoiding any fluctuations that might happen during moving. To unpause, simply press the pause button again. The multicolored boxes above the blue arrow will advance you to the next ingredient. Once this is pressed, you cannot return back to this ingredient. You are now ready to start loading your first ingredient. When you first select a recipe, you will notice the RD40RF and the XLR will show you the first ingredient and the target weight. Once you start loading, the remote displays will switch to showing you only the target weight. The target weight is displayed as a countdown number, so you know exactly how much you have left to load. In addition, the XLR has a bar graph that further helps you keep track of your progress. In this case, we have the auto advance turned on. So once the target is reached, the indicator automatically advances to the next ingredient. We recommend setting a 5 to 10 second mix timer in between each ingredient. This will allow enough time to record the total amount of the ingredient being loaded in case additional ingredient comes out of the loader. This helps to avoid any of the ingredient being applied to the next one. Once you have loaded the last ingredient, the timer will start if set. The mix timer can be customized to the time parameters recommended by your nutritionist. 2 minutes to 5 minutes is most commonly used. To bypass the mix timer, press the icon with the truck and the clock. You are now ready to unload your premix. No destination is assigned because premix is usually just unloaded in your ingredient shed to be used in additional rations. Now we'll outline the batching by pin method. This is the batching method that we encourage everyone to use. It will ensure the greatest integrity of feeding records and minimize feeding errors by operators. Select the batch by pin icon and you will notice all of your recipes listed. Select which recipe you want to make. All your pins now appear. You can now select which pin you're batching for. In this case, I am selecting pin 1 milk. You can either select start this load or add and remove pins. In this case, I'm selecting add and remove pins. You will notice that the X signifies that pin 1 has been selected. The asterisk will let you know there is not enough room in the mixer to make a full batch for this pin. Pin 7 does not have an asterisk, so we can select this pin and mix the full ration for this feeding. In the load details, you will see the total batch size is shown, which is 12,472, and how much is available, which free and on use is 5,028 pounds. And below it will show us what pins we have selected up to this point, pin 1 and pin 7. You can now add more pins if you have room or start this load. The first ingredient appears, which is premix. All ingredients start at the target weight, which in this case is 3,690 pounds, and count down to 0. This makes it very easy to reference how much you have left of that ingredient to add to the batch. Once you're done mixing the batch, you are ready to feed the pins. The first pin selected appears, which is pin 1 milk. You can change which pins you feed by pressing the blue and green arrows. Once you have selected which pin you want to feed first, you can start feeding. In this case, I'm going to start feeding pin 7. The brown box is the drop advance box. If you select this option, you move to the next pin to feed, and you're not able to come back and finish feeding that pin and record this weight. In this example, we are simulating pins where we feed the cows from both sides. We drop half of each batch on one side, then use the arrows to go to the next pin to drop half the batch on pin 1. We have now dropped off half for pin 1. We will now drop the last half of the batch for pin 1 on the other side. You can set the alarm to go off at the target weight. For example, if you know you drop about 250 pounds from the first time you start shutting your gate to the time it's fully closed, you can set the alarm to sound when you have 250 pounds left to feed. We have dropped off both sides of pin 1, and we will now drop off the last half of pin 7. This allows you to focus on driving and feeding the cattle, and you simply just close the gate once you hear the alarm. Batching by pin eliminates the need for feed sheets and greatly reduces the chances of operator error, because the exact amount to make, which pins to feed to, and how much to feed to each pin is already outlined for the user. You can also batch by recipe. This also is an excellent method, but does require the operator to have feed sheets to reference. Select which recipe you want to batch. The default size is the capacity of your mixture that was preset in Foreman PC. Select the yellow change load size icon to enter a different target. Once you enter the correct batch size, press enter, then press the start this load icon. The first ingredient, which is corn, will appear and you can begin loading. The total of each individual ingredient in the ration is derived from the target dry matter percentage that has been entered into Foreman PC for that particular recipe. Unlike batching by pin, the feeder needs to reference the feed sheet to know the total amount to feed that pin. You can use the blue arrows to find pins, or you can use the binoculars to search for a pin. Once the pin has been selected, you can start feeding. In this mode, you start at 0 and it's up to the feeder to stop feeding once the target has been met. Once you have fed the target amount, you can select the icon with the 3 folders and the blue arrow to select the next pin. Once your pin is selected, you can finish feeding. You can access the adjustments menu from the mix menu or the home menu by pressing the icon with the tools. In Foreman, you can adjust pin head counts and ingredient dry matter percentage. The grayed out icons are available if you upgrade to FeedWatch. To change pin head count, press on the icon with the brown box. Select which pin you want to adjust. In this case, we're changing the pre-fresh head count from 89 to 90. You can also view pin head count change history by pressing the circle icon with the crescent wrench. Select which pin you want to view the history of, and the head count change history is displayed. Simply touch the exit button and return to the main menu. To adjust the ingredient dry matter percentage, press the icon above the ingredient title. Select which ingredient you want to change the dry matter percentage on, enter in the new dry matter percentage, and press enter. To view the individual ingredient dry matter percent change history, select the circle icon with the crescent wrench in the middle. Then select which ingredient you want to view. The dry matter change history is clearly displayed. It is important to remember that your most recent dry matter percentage or head count changes will not appear in the history menu until you download the feeding data to the PC package. This completes the Feed Foreman for the 3060 touchscreen quick start guide. If you have further questions, Please consult your user manual or go to our website, www.agscales.com.